How do you make a filet mignon the perfect holiday meal? By adding this decadent, creamy lobster spinach sauce for a holiday surf and turf unlike anything you've ever had. It's holiday surf and turf, Omaha Steaks style. Let's get into it. All right, first things first, we wanna go ahead and dice our onions so you trim off the edges. Sharp knife is very important. Use your fingernails to protect our fingers. It's gonna give you a really nice uniform dice on the onion. And then we dice. And you gotta have garlic. To me, every good recipe starts with onions and garlic. So you just take your palm to kind of release the cloves from the bulb. And we're gonna use 3. And then you just use the knife and just kind of lightly smash it so you're releasing the skin from the garlic. Thinly slice them. So when you eat it, you get that nice contrast and texture with the garlic cloves. Parsley, because you want to have that nice pop of color. So you just kind of roll that up in a ball like that to make it easier. Let the knife do the work. Rowing motion. And as you cut, you're using your knuckles as a guide. That's why it's so important to have a sharp knife at all times. That is the most important tool in a chef's kitchen. Go ahead and put them in little tiny bowls like so. All right, now the star of this sauce is going to be our lobster. We have these beautiful Omaha Steaks lobster tails right here, and they already come nice and pre-sliced for you, but for me, it's gonna be a lot easier to kind of dice them up by taking your knife, again, sharp knife, and just following that as a guideline. Just run your knife all the way through the lobster tail like so, exposing that beautiful, luscious lobster meat. Again, using the knife, letting it do the work. And from there, that lobster meat should come out fairly easily. Easy enough, all right? So do that 3 more times. Again, using your finger to carefully, gently remove that. You just wanna have a nice, large dice on the lobster. So again, let the knife do the work. About, 1/2 inch dices like so. We have our parsley, we have our onion, we have our garlic, and we are ready to make our lobster spinach sauce. All right, let's clean this up and move on to the next step of our recipe. So I have these beautiful Omaha Steaks butcher's cut filet mignons, nice and thick for perfect cookery. And what I like to do first all the time is I want to use paper towels and dry the surface of the filet. By doing that, you're gonna get a better sear, which we all know and love on steaks, and it's gonna also help the seasoning adhere more. So top, left, bottom, and repeat that same process. You wanna season pretty aggressively with our salt and pepper, and you wanna season from the top, so you're getting a nice, even seasoning all over. And I prefer using kosher salt because you get those flaky granules you can see, and it gives you that nice crust as well. Top, left, right, bottom, all over. You wanna opt for a nice, coarse, cracked black pepper. I'd probably say, rule of thumb, maybe half of what you seasoned in salt, you wanna do with pepper. And just a little bit of thyme, crushed thyme I have right here, for that nice herbaceousness. Love saying that word, herbaceousness. And it's gonna give it a nice kind of, floral note as well once it hits that pan and caramelizes into the steak. Just a pinch will do with this. You don't wanna overpower that lovely, natural, beautiful flavor of the steak, but kind of accent and, accentuate. And there we have it, 1, 2, 3, 4, beautifully seasoned, perfect Omaha Steaks butcher's cut filet mignons. Now, when it comes to cooking grits, I wanna opt and go ahead and use chicken stock. You get a nice kind of savory note and much more flavorful than any water you might add to your grits. From there, anytime you have a chance to add even more flavor, do it. So we're gonna season our stock. Have a little bit of kosher salt, a little bit of white pepper. It's a little milder than black pepper, and garlic powder. If you have a lid, use it. So once our chicken stock comes to a boil, you can smell the garlic in there and it's really nice and perfumey. You want to slowly add the grits in there. Take your time, little by little. You whisk every time you add some. You don't want to add all of it because it'll clump up and become one stiff ball. And again, we want creamy grits, all right? So little by little. And the more you add, the more you whisk. So take your time, don't rush. This is a very important step in the grits process. And keep whisking the entire time. Make sure and look inside of the pot. There's no clumping going on. And all of those grit granules are kind of separated. And that's gonna get us where you wanna be. So from there, once everything's nice and incorporated, you wanna kind of, bring it down to medium heat and then put that lid back on it. Okay, so at this point, we're at the 4-minute mark. You wanna go ahead and give it a whisk, get everything nice and incorporated. Make sure none of the grits are sticking to the bottom of the pot because that'll burn your grits and nobody wants burnt grits. So what I like to do is take a little tasting spoon and taste the grits and see if they're nice and tender. The flavor's great. I think we are pretty much there. So see you in 2 minutes. Okay, so we're at the 6-minute point right now. So at this point, we wanna add even more flavor. So we have heavy cream. You wanna whisk that in. And then you wanna also add cheese. You wanna take your time, add a little bit of cheese, whisk, a little bit of cheese, whisk, because we don't want clumps of cheese in there. We want everything to be one nice, smooth consistency. All right, so at that point, you let it kind of simmer on very, very low to just kind of let everything emulsify and come together. See that drip? That is what we're looking for. So the foil that's really gonna bring this all together is, a sauce. We're gonna get our pan going, medium-high heat. Okay, a little bit of olive oil. And then to this, we wanna start with our aromatics. So a little bit of onion and sliced garlic. And what you wanna do then is just get this, nice and sauteed and caramelized for about, 45 seconds to a minute. And by caramelizing, we're releasing the natural oils and the natural sweetness of the garlic and the onions. Once that gets going, we wanna add our spinach. And it might look like a lot of spinach, but once you saute it, get it incorporated, it's gonna wilt down. It's gonna get nice and flavorful. Whenever you can add flavor, always add flavor. So we added some salt, black pepper, white pepper, paprika or smoked paprika, garlic powder, and then we saute all of this together, and it smells really, really good already. Once that does its thing, we wanna add our heavy cream because it is a cream sauce. We wanna bring that to a boil and then bring it to a simmer. So bring it down to about a medium heat. We wanna simmer that. Let it do its thing until it's nice and creamy and sauce-like. All right, so at this point, when you let that get nice and reduced and sauce-like, you kind of see a nappe sauce-like consistency. And when I say nappe, what that means is I should have the sauce in the back of the spoon and run my finger through it, and that streak should remain. That is what we're looking for. Okay, so at this point, we wanna add our lobster to the sauce. The lobster is gonna cook very quickly, and the fact that they're diced in those smaller pieces, it's gonna cook even faster. 60 to 90 seconds, no more than 2 minutes. You really should be kind of heating up, warming up, and cooking that lobster. And right now, we're still going at a simmer because we have that great consistency, and we don't wanna shock and overcook that lobster. At this point, I wanna check for seasoning. So take a tasting spoon. Almost there. I'm gonna just do the slightest pinch of kosher salt. Black pepper, just a little bit, because it's always easy to add more seasoning, add more salt, but once it's in there, you're kind of stuck. And you want to finish this with fresh parsley because you always eat with your eyes first. Now it is super important that you let the steaks come to room temperature because it's gonna cook through evenly and have edge to edge, perfect, beautiful red doneness for that medium rare we're looking for. All right, so we turn our pan about medium-high heat. So about 3 tablespoons of the grapeseed oil in there, enough to kind of cover the bottom of the pan. The oil will start to ripple and kind of glisten. Once I put the filet in there, if it doesn't sizzle, that pan is not ready. And you wanna always lay the filet away from you. All right, so this is a pretty big pan right here. If you have a smaller pan, maybe opt for 2. Once I put them in the pan, I like to kind of press them down so you're getting that full surface area of the filet seared in the cast iron pan. Let that go for about 3 to 4 minutes till it gets nice and golden brown. So let the steak do its thing. Don't flip it yet, don't touch it, leave it undisturbed. That's gonna be the key to get that golden brown delicious steak we want every single time. About 2 minutes in, you just kind of want to see where we're at. Looking good, that one. Needs a little more time. And if you gotta kind of move the steaks around because there are gonna be hot spots in the pan, and it's all about temperature control. All right, so all of our steaks, beautifully brown. This one's got a little more to go. Press down on that one, to kind of gently nudge it along. All right, I think we're ready. Butter, unsalted butter, I prefer to use because you can always add salt, but you can't take it out. I'll let that cover everything, kind of melt. Okay, we flip our steaks like so. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 for 4. Beautiful. And then we butter baste for about 20 seconds. We want to baste that butter because fat is flavor. What I like to do is hit it about 5 degrees lower than your target temperature. So for fillets, we got 120 to 130. So I like to let this cook to 115, sometimes 120. Take it off because when you rest it, it's going to carry over cook, and that degree temperature readout is going to raise about 5 degrees. So at this point, you know, when you flip them, you're about the 2-minute mark. You want to go ahead and just kind of see, get a gauge of where we're at. Again, you want to go by cooking doneness, not the time. Okay. We're getting close to that 115 desired temp. So at this point, let's get a nice little sear on the sides. Kind of get that 360 browning. So I took these off at 115, 120. It's gonna carry over cook, let it rest for about 6 to 8 minutes. That's gonna allow for all of the juices to redistribute. So rest well, my friend, you deserve it. We're gonna serve this up on a bed of savory cheddar grits and top it with our exquisite lobster spinach sauce for an incredible holiday surf and turf meal, guaranteed to make spirits bright. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to visit omahasteaks.com/blog to get even more holiday magic made easy.